Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. It's me, Golding, and today I will be covering part 2 of Fae's backstory. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, I definitely recommend watching that before I get into this, but without further ado, I will get started. The cold and anticipation made Fae's scales crawl with excitement as she and Spirit Seeker edged along the corridor in her father's palace. The inside, which was just as lavish as the outside, was decorated with many ice sculptures and wall hangings, much of which had featured the face of a majestic-looking Icewing. So far, they hadn't been bothered by anyone from the castle, thanks to the Firefly's guidance and the Rainwing sleeping dart Spirit Seeker had brought. Finally, they came to the door to the room the Fireflies had said her father was in. Fae drew a tremulous breath, murmuring a silent thanks to her mother for getting her this far. Upon opening the door, she saw a brightly lit room with windows along the left wall. Diamond shapes were carved into the arches between, and there were thin sheets of ice that acted as glass. There was also a rug with a pattern that reminded Fae of a chicken's footprint. Finally, she brought herself to register the throne-like seat and its baffled occupant at the end of the hall. A middle-aged gray Icewing sat watching them with a look of irritation as they approached. "What business do you have here, you?" he asked, and Fae felt like he was trying to distinguish what tribe she was from. "Fae. My name is Fae, and I am of Icewing and Rainwing descent," she replied formally, although she felt a twinge of irritation. "And this is my companion, Spirit Seeker of the Nightwings. Are you here with a fruit delivery? You do know that you can just leave it at the gate, and the cooks will take care of it," her father said with a wave of his hand, ignoring them. "We didn't come here to deliver fruit. We came here to take back everything you took from my mother," Fae declared. "What do you mean?" the Icewing asked indignantly. 8 years ago. You used a Rainwing's animus power to get your title and money, and when she was with Egg, you kicked her out. She died soon after." Fae looked into his cold eyes and hoped to see some sign of sadness or regret. Instead, she only found reproach. "So what? That Rainwing was a lovesick fool, and I didn't need to take responsibility for her or the egg." Fae winced at his provocatory words, and any hope she had left vanished. Spirit Seeker stepped forward to defend her, but she stopped him. With a sigh to compose herself, she lifted her head high to stare at her father unblinkingly. "My mother wasn't a fool, and she sacrificed herself to keep me alive. Now I'm here to take back what you took from her." Fae felt satisfied to see a look of terror on her father's face. She signaled the Fireflies to start. They began to fill the room and land on the walls and fixtures, including the throne Fae's father was sitting in. Suddenly, the Fireflies began to glow, and the surfaces beneath them began to deteriorate. All around them, everything was slowly disintegrating as the Fireflies began to devour it. "Stop them! Stop them at once!" Fae's father cried, but it was too late. In no time, the entire palace was gone, only leaving the scattered staff looking around confused. "You did it," Spirit Seeker said, nudging her shoulder. Fae smiled happily and glanced over at the shrunken figure of her father. Suddenly, he turned to them with a menacing glare. "Yes, you did it, but revenge is always followed by more revenge." And Fae froze as he leaped at them, razor-sharp claws extended. "Fae, look out!" Spirit Seeker exclaimed, and he shoved her out of harm's way. Stumbling forward with shock, she whipped around to see as Spirit Seeker and her father's claws clashed. They grappled for a moment, each gaining various injuries before retreating back. Fae tried to stop them, but before she could, they both inhaled, and jets of fire and ice flew at the other. A cloud of steam billowed up, and as it cleared, Fae saw Spirit Seeker hunched on the ground with frost breath trailing up his neck. Her father also had burns running along his chest, and he too was hunched over, watching them angrily. But he was not as angry as Fae. She felt rage as it bubbled up inside and blinded her rationality. How dare he hurt her only friend? Fae was so mad she didn't notice the Fireflies gathering into a ball of light behind her. She walked over to her father, muttering a spell under breath. All she had to do was touch him. She felt the cold radiating off of her scales as she was about to make contact when a soft voice called, "Fae?" And that was part 2. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was super fun to write, and I'm really excited to write part 3. Again, thank you guys for watching. It means so much to me, and I will see you guys soon.